December 383 AD. As the decaying Western Roman Empire struggles for survival, 5,000 miles to the east, a new power threatens to take over all of China. It is the former Qin Empire, led by the ambitious Fujian, who will stop at nothing to become the supreme ruler of all of China. Fu looks unstoppable as he stands with his massive army of 800,000 men on the western bank of the Fei River, 300 miles west of modern Shanghai. On the other side of the river is the last obstacle in Fu's way to fulfilling his ambition, the Jin army. The Jin Empire controls all of southern China and have placed their hopes for survival in a general named Huan Chong. General Huan failed to protect two key cities against Fu years earlier. Now Huan would have his chance for redemption, but the odds are stacked against him. Huan is outnumbered 10 to 1. How did the Qin Empire rise from obscurity to superpower in a mere 33 years? The catalyst was a Chinese ruler named Ran Min. Ran ordered the genocide of non-Chinese in the year 350. To get his people to safety, Fujian's uncle, the leader of the Di tribe, headed west and established a homeland of their own. He called his fledgling empire the Qin. The Di tribe had previously been loyal to the Jin Empire in the south, but when the Qin declared an empire of their own, the Jin sent an army to crush them in 354. However, the Qin were able to beat back the Jin army. Later, in 357, the ambitious and cunning Fujian ascended to the Qin throne after assassinating his cousin. For the first 13 years, his empire enjoyed relative peace. During this time, the Qin economy flourished, and they built the wealth they would need for the military campaigns to come. Then, in the year 370, the Qin armies marched out and first crushed the Yan. The following year, they conquered the small kingdom of Kuiqi. Next, the provinces of Longshu and Yuzhou were taken from the mighty Jin Empire itself. By 382, the Qin had swallowed up all remaining kingdoms in northern China. With control of all of northern China, Fujian was finally in a position to realize his ultimate ambition. The only enemy left now was the Jin Empire. Fu conscripted an enormous army of 800,000 men and began the march south to subdue the Jin and become master of all of China. The Jin have been the largest empire in China for over 100 years. They assemble an army of 80,000 and march north to stop the massive Qin force from invading their homeland. The two armies meet at the Fei River.
One thing that we need to keep in mind about the opposing forces of Huan Chong and Fujian is that Fujian's forces are mostly conscripts. They're poorly disciplined with little to no training, and that's going to play a significant role in this battle. And if you contrast that with Huan Chong's forces, you'll see a major difference, because Huan Chong's forces are much better disciplined, they're veterans, and they're much better equipped, and they're fighting to defend their very homelands. And not only that, much like the ancient Greeks thought of themselves as the keepers of civilization, the ancient Chinese were no different. And so they had that psychological factor going for them as well. They thought of themselves as the ones that needed to preserve civilization.
The two armies stood facing each other, with the Qin on the west bank of the Fei River and the Jin on the east. Neither side wanted to expose themselves during a river crossing. Finally, the Jin sent a messenger to the Qin and asked that they move back away from the river bank to make room for the Jin army to cross, so that the two forces could engage in honorable combat.
It may seem strange to us for one side to politely ask the other to kindly step aside so that they can do honorable battle, but this was not strange in 4th century China, where honor was paramount.
Despite the dissent of his generals, Fujian agreed to the plan to have his army retreat slightly to make room for the Jin.
Sun Tzu said that the management of the many is the same as management of a few. It's a matter of organization. Unfortunately for Fujian's troops, they're poorly organized, so the management of that many is an impossible task for Fujian, and what happens is the troops closest to the river get the order to retreat, but the troops further back have no idea that this is a planned retreat, that they're just supposed to fall back in an organized fashion a little bit to allow Huan Chang's forces to come over. So they actually think they're being routed, and so unfortunately for Fujian, a full-scale, unorganized retreat ensues. And remember what time of year this is. Winter is setting in, and these troops have fled in an unorganized way, and so they have the clothes on their back. Maybe they still have their weapon, but in no way are they prepared for a winter in interior China. And so the majority of Fujian's forces end up succumbing to the elements.
After the disaster at the Fei River, rebellion sprang up all over the Qin Empire. Fujian himself was assassinated just 2 years after the battle, and the empire disintegrated.